So there was a panel discussion in the University of Cape Town. I don't think I can go through all of this again. Let's. It takes a long time to load. Please look at it. The links are there. But there was a racist response to the views of conspiracy theory, Bantuization, and so on. But the point that I was expecting something like that, but what I was surprised by was the stupidity of the lies. So absurd that they lacked prima facie credibility. So Bantuization, they said, the professor from UCT, a student of GFR Ellis, he brazenly lied in the South African press that I'm making math easy by dumbing it down by Bantuization. And the press never checked back with me for my response. Now, I gave this response in a scholarly article, and I showed my tutorial sheet for my Calculus Without Limits course. Now, the thing about this tutorial sheet is this. What I'm doing here is I'm solving the equation for a simple pendulum, where simple pendulum is the first science experiment that you do in school, first serious science experiment. And the functions I'm using, as you can see, are the Jacobian elliptic functions Sn, Cn, and Dn. And they are being solved. And the students are being asked to do it, and this is a tutorial sheet. It is the first tutorial that the students have in my Calculus Without Limits course. And then after the first tutorial, they are able to do this. And this is not done. And if you do it and do the correct science, then they call it Bantuization. My God, what sort of, what included in my course to show that making math easy enables students to solve harder problems. All right. So, maybe I can just give you a demo. You can take a look at my adolescence school project document, which lists all the details about Jacobian elliptic functions and a simple pendulum. Or you can see my 2005 article. This is time. What is it that it can be measured? Which discusses the theory of the simple pendulum, and or see this thing on brachistochrone and so on. So both the sons have PhDs in physics. But point is brachistochrone resistance, which is a problem he did in school, is not even done at the research level. There's no accepted solution. So anyway, why are Jacobian elliptic functions needed? They are easy to describe. Theory of the pendulum, simplified theory, the Bantuized theory, should I call it, which is there in all the school texts, which is there in all the calculus texts. Time period of the simple pendulum is independent of amplitude, because t is equal to 2 pi root over L by G. But the simplified theory is contrary to observations. Time period of the simple pendulum is dependent on amplitude. But to do that, you have to have Jacobian elliptic functions, which you don't teach. And say, if you teach them, that is wrong. You should not teach correct science. That is what the criticism is. That is how lacking in credibility it is. And that is what happens if you trust a formal mathematician. So students and teachers wrongly believe the theory is right. They don't perform the experiment. They don't check with the actual observation, and they get the wrong thing. They trust authority. Misleads. Well, the comparison is very easy. Now I can give the comparison. I don't know if this will work. I have this executable here. I can just show it to you right now by doing it on the spot. So I have Jacobian elliptic function, and you can see this. All right. So you can compare how bad the theory is by, I will compare it, Jacobian elliptic functions with the corresponding functions sine and cosine. So just sine, let us take sine of x, okay. So this is the difference. Now if you believe that, the blue line is the Jacobian elliptic function, then the red line is sine of x. So the time period is quite different, and the time period will keep varying with the amplitude, and you can check out my science project for that. The point is, if you use the simple pendulum as a clock, you go in a ship, your ship will sink. It's a matter of life and death. All right. So it's astonishing that such a brazen lie by a math professor from UCT is accepted, because I am what? Just a brown man from somewhere. Why should you believe me? All right. But point is, even a person sympathetic to me, he wrote an article and he believed that they were right. He said, okay, this guy is not a mathematician, he's just a historian of math. It is there in the Daily Maverick. And he said, you must discuss, you must have an academic response and so on, you must have your perspectives. So he's very sympathetic, but he believed that there must be at least 1% true what they are saying. It is not. 100% lie. People don't expect that, but that's what it is. Okay, So point is, don't trust a former university mathematician to help you with decolonization of math. You will only mislead. Because if they accept, their life work will become useless. They accept a change of philosophy. And they know that you're ignorant of math, and so they can fool you with the most brazen lies, teaching Jacobian arithmetic functions, Bantuization. Absurd, I mean, height of absurdity.
Requested to do a vote of thanks. Indeed, Prof. Raju, you are not a historian of mathematics, but a revolutionary mathematician par excellence.